Oh, the soothing sounds of the car sirens and alarms here on the ferry, heading off to a different island. Right now we are departing from the Isle of Skye, heading all the way to an area called Tarbert in the Isle of Harris and Lewis. I'm Ariel, this is Urbanist. Let me know where you're watching from. And right now, let's enjoy the views of Skye from a distance. This ferry is a total of 1 hour and 40 minutes. And it does include cars, as we can hear them alarming right down below us. And the cool thing about this ferry is that apparently there is a chance of seeing whales and other marine animals, which would be so awesome if we get the chance to see these beautiful sea creatures. Oh, the beautiful rolling green hills of Scotland. Look at that. So welcome everyone. I'm on the ferry right now over to the Isle of Lewis, which is the northernmost isle in the Hebrides, which is an island chain on the western coast of northern Scotland. And I'm super excited to visit this area. The area is known for its whiskey, its black pudding, and many other wonderful things. And even more impressive landscapes, apparently. So we'll see. Skye already has a lot to offer. So let's see if Lewis can even offer even more. But also, I'll be visiting the stone circles that was featured in the TV show Outlander, which I'm super hyped for. Actual stone circles. So I'll show you the views. Greg says it's known for Scotch. Yes, Scotch to be more specific. Hello, Kay. Good morning. Hello, Greg. So everyone, if you're tuning in right now, do me a favor and slam that like button. If you're on Facebook, share this video with relevant Facebook groups. It could be about travel, like Rick Steve's Travel is a good group to share. They love my videos. Any groups about Scottish travel, UK travel, feel free to share with them. So we're seeing the mountains. I'm not sure if those mountains are already from the mainland. So this is the Isle of Skye. That's where I went live yesterday from one of the high peaks. We might have seen this part of the sea, but I'm not sure what mountain chain is that one. Ross says, yes, I'm in sunny Scotland. Ross says, welcome back to Scotland. The weather's holding. I mean, every time I come here, it's always sunny and beautiful. B. Chris says, the previous president's mother was from Lewis. Oh, that's interesting. I did not realize that. That's interesting. Is this the Sandline Ferry, says Joe. Yeah, of course. Right down there is Manhattan. we see Brooklyn over here. Hello, Neil. If you pop into my hometown of Stornoway, say hi to the folks up there. Yeah, Neil. I think I might make a stop there. I've heard many things about Stornoway's black pudding. So we're going to a few places on the Isle of Lewis. Oleg from the Ukraine, welcome. Thank you so much. Says, always watch your channel with great pleasure. Although I don't understand English, I understand what the video's plot is about. I'm so glad you understand what the video's plot is about. Today, the video's plot is about getting on the ferry and hopefully seeing something. Susie says, I finally made it to Atlantic City. Indeed, Susie. So welcome to the live video. Hello, Ida. So if any Scottish urbanists tuning in, can you let me know what mountain range that is? Show you more of the views. Well, let's show Skye before we get too far away from it. Then I can show you more views. Hello, Kay. Welcome. Kay says, so glad you're in Scotland after your last trip. Will says, why you never do Vegas? Will, you have to ask yourself, why would I do Vegas when you have the option for the same amount of hours to fly to see this? People asked me that when I was in Venice last year. Oh, why didn't you just go to Vegas? I don't know. You answer that question. Vegas or this? Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Scotland the Insane, welcome, man. It says, is not the Black Cullens Mountain, it's the Harris part, also known for its white sandy beaches. Yeah, we're not facing Harris yet. I'm showing Skye as much as we have the chance, and I'll show more of the ferry. Linda says, this was my ancestor's view when he left Scotland for Canada in 1840. Wow. Neil says you should try Las Vegas on the way back. Yes, there is legal gambling here. There's gambling machines on this ferry, which if service holds up, I'll show it to you. Eugene says Scotland is better. Not both. I mean, of course, yeah, Vegas is wonderful, but yeah, I mean, this is truly worth it. If you have the budget to do Vegas, you have the budget to do Scotland. Don't overestimate coming over to Europe if you are East Coast American, close to a major airport. You'll be shocked. Well, UK is pretty expensive in terms of prices, but you'll be shocked how many places in Europe, like Paris, for example, is affordable. Jesper says, how long is the ferry trip? 1 hour and 40 minutes. I'll probably show about 30 minutes of this ferry ride. Joe says you can camel on this ferry and eat soup. Yep, there's a cafe here too. Uh-oh, the ferry's tilting. Will says, how much was my plane ticket? My plane ticket to Paris, I'm flying in and out of Paris, was $900, give or take. Bit of Wonder says, I'll be in the UK 5 days for walks and exploration. I'm so glad you will be. That's amazing. Ross says, Pres D, whose mom's from Lewis, yes, are going to their ancestral land. Hey, and welcome. So the ferry's huge. There's a lot of sitting room here. We see gigantic lifeboats. Wow, those are cool. Will says, what time is it here? Early, 10 a.m.-ish, around there. Susie says, where did your tour group lodge? You know, I did not manage to make a video of it, but we lodged at a place called, I think it was Mary Bella's house. I'll double check. Susie says, you've been so lucky with the weather. I have been, yeah. It's always sunny in Scotland. Matt asks, how long is the ferry ride? 1 hour and 40 minutes, and it's going fast. That means we're pretty far from the Isle of Lewis. Joe says it's 5:09 a.m. in Ohio. Joe says, how much is the ferry ride? So I'm on a group trip right now. Towards the end of the group trip, I'll break down how much it was and what group trip I used. They provided a small little discount, but they by no means sponsored the trip or these videos. So I'm grateful for them to sponsor for giving me a small discount. So I'll mention them towards the end. But I have not incurred any cost on the ferry. I think I overheard that the ferry was £9 per person on passenger, but vehicles probably a lot more. Luckily, with this group trip, all the breakfast has been included. A few meals have been included, and other things. Okay, so now that we saw most of Skye, let's see the rest of the boat, as long as we have some cell phone reception. These are cool. Those are so cool. Hey. Joe says your Airbnb was awesome. Oh yeah, I had a wonderful Airbnb in Ferry. I'll be posting on one hotel from this trip so far, and probably the second one, if it's nice enough, I'll post it as well. It says I have to go to a neighbor's funeral. All my condolences to your neighbor. Okay. Thank you so much for saying hello. Anne says, nice to see you going to Lewis. I have been to Lewis and Harris 3 years ago. Different from Skye, but also beautiful. Yeah, a few Scottish urbanists said that it is way more stark, the geology, the geography in Lewis than even in Skye. So let's see. Skye already has dramatic landscapes. Let's see if Lewis matches up or exceeds those dramatic landscapes. B. Chris says, what town did the ferry leave from? Uig. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. U-I-G. Okay, there's bound to be a map here, so let's explore the ferry, shall we? How are the Scottish people? Very friendly. It's not as super friendly as Ireland. I think it's not as friendly north of England, but still very friendly. This is my guide right over here. I think he's also live streaming. I'm not sure. If you want to say wave hello, two of my tour mates. It's hear car sirens. Yeah, I'm from New York, so I can't.
From New York, it's just a background ambient noise now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I tune it out, but seeing these dramatic landscapes, it's hard to tune out. Yeah. Comfortable ride?
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, nice. Of Highlanders. That's so cool. That's how I'm dressing in the Isle of Lewis. Thank you. Unfortunately, in the cafe. Are you FaceTiming? You're FaceTiming? Yeah. You are? Oh, that's amazing. Enjoy. So yeah, unfortunately there is no service inside the ferry, but let me show you the map that I have. Bit of a Wonder says, I hope I heard the airport is bad. Hoping flights aren't too bad. I flew in luckily before the hecticness of the European airports, so my Paris flight was good. I have not taken another flight yet, though I will be going back to continental Europe. Stay tuned, June 30th. You'll be seeing a city that I have not covered before. A city that not too many people cover on live stream, I think. So stay tuned. Almost all of July will be places I haven't been to. Let me, this definitely isn't the Staten Island Ferry, says Joe, no. So I got a map that I got at Portobello Road Market, which I live streamed from. After I finished the live stream, saw this beautiful stall with a guy who prints very vintage maps and then makes beautiful folders out of them. His own designs, so it's really cool. And I got two for £30. He gave me a small discount. So this is 1851. Yesterday I said 1871 by mistake. And let me show it to you. All right, here it is. Scotland in 1851. So we started, as I mentioned yesterday, we started in Edinburgh, which is right over here in the green, right over here. That's Edinburgh. We saw the views from Calton Hill. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous place. And then I ended up taking a train, a slow 4-hour train ride all the way to Inverness, which is right here, Inverness. From Inverness, that's where I met my tour group. We stayed over the night, and then from Inverness we went by car all the way to a place called Malay. I was mispronouncing it before. I called it Malik. I can't see it in the map right now, but somewhere here around the coast. Somewhere around here on the coast. We passed through the highlands of the Inverness region, and then we took a short ferry, about 40 minutes, all the way to the Isle of Skye, which is this right here. In the Isle of Skye, I went live all the way from the top of the Kerrang. I think the Kerrang is in this northern area around here, I think. And then this is where we're getting off the ferry, Uig. From Uig, we're taking this ferry all the way to Talbot, which is right over here. So here we have the Isle of South Harris and the Isle of Lewis. Isle of Harris, Isle of Lewis. They're connected by a small neck of land, so they kind of consider it two different islands. But we're landing right over here in Talbot. And then I'm gonna make my way further up north with the tour group. Right there, look at that. So that is the view that we saw in Edinburgh. I'm not sure where this is. Here's the Shetland Islands. So the most remote area of Scotland will be the Shetland Islands and all the way in Orkney. But not for this trip. This is more Edinburgh. Here are some Highlanders. That's so cool. Hunting deer. I ate a pizza yesterday with venison salami. I'll post an Instagram of it. But that's my venison. More Highlanders. Beating someone. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh no. They're playing some type of sport. I thought they were beating someone. I thought they were bludgeoning someone to death. But no, luckily not. And here's Holyrood House, more Edinburgh. So this is the entirety of Scotland. Right here. And I went from here to here. Joe says this is a treasure map. So there is a treasure. According to a few stories, Bonnie Prince Charles was someone who tried to take back the Stuart dynasty here in England. He failed in a failed revolt and went on exile, started going through all the caves apparently through the Isle of Skye and these Hebrides islands. And apparently left some treasure. And people still to this day search for that treasure. Lots of gold in those Hebridean islands. Hey, Bit of a Wonder says, the Cotswolds are stunning. Check out Bath and Oxford. Yeah, I did not get the chance to see the Cotswolds this time around. Athena left a 20 euro super chat. Thank you so much, Athena. Everyone give a round of hearts to Athena. Very generous 20-pound super chat. Thank you so 20 euro super chat. Thank you so much. Euro and pounds are basically the same now. Poor Britain. They're losing out on the value of their own money. I'm touring Lewis right now, says Clarice. Ooh, cool. Perhaps I'll see you in Stornoway. Yeah, if you do see me, I'm happy to wave hello. That's so cool that you're touring Lewis. Are you from Scotland, Clarice? Do remind me. And gold is still a good investment, says Joe. Touche. So maybe I gotta find the treasure of the Bonnie Prince. Wow, Athena says lunch is on me. Thank you so much, Athena. Athena, another 20 euro super chat. So it's total 40 euros. Thank you so much for the super chat. I wish I could show you the cafe, but there was no cell phone reception down there. And Tiggle says, what's up from LA? What's up, Tiggle? And Joe says, is this a treasure map? We still have pirates here in Florida. It feels like a treasure map. The moment I saw the map, I knew I had to get it. And I got a second one. I got a second one for a region of Europe I will be exploring. So stay tuned. I will be using another old map like these. Hey, Ryan says, yes, train and subways. Yes, there's a transit strike. Today's Saturday, so it's another day of the transit strike. It should be the last day of the transit strike. So Bit of a Wonder says, I follow your advice and got the Vodafone SIM for my live streams. I hope you got it in the UK. I should have clarified that, Bit of a Wonder. So to clarify, everyone, when I mentioned to get a SIM card, get it in the local area. Don't buy it beforehand. It might be too late, so sorry about that, Bit of a Wonder, for not being more specific. But if you buy a SIM card from Amazon.com or beforehand, you're going to get less data, you're going to pay maybe twice as more, and it might not be as efficient. It could be always different, but that's generally the case. Joe says, you're the only reason I'm up this early. This tour has been spectacular. I'm so glad this tour has been spectacular. That's so awesome to hear. Ryan, I am stunned that we still have cell phone reception. Stunned. So I'll stick around for 3 more minutes down here. And we'll go up for another 5 or 6 minutes to show you the views. So feel free to ask anything. Are you going to the Calais standing stones? Stay tuned, Walter. Will says, you gotta be a happy man doing all these travels. No, I'm miserable. All this travel. No, Will, I really, really love the ability to travel. I got a lot of comments of people saying, you must be extremely rich. I am not at the moment extremely rich. I am working while traveling, and I'm so glad that I made a job out of travel. I'm really happy that is the case. For me, it wasn't that easy. It took me 6 years, 5 years really, to get to a point where I can actually make money from my trips. Susie says, do you ever feel tired? Sometimes, and sometimes I don't. At the moment, I do not feel too tired. I didn't sleep too well in my hotel room. Well, it wasn't because of the hotel room. It's that sunrise is super early this far north, so it's a bit hard to get adjusted to. But sometimes I do get a bit tired, yes. Luckily, views like this is refreshing. Doing videos in this style is very refreshing. I get more tired if I go to a city that has a lot of stuff going on. You know, London gets a little bit tiring because, you know, I love my work. So sometimes I end up doing 3, 4, 5, 6 videos one day. And you only see the video being posted, but especially if it's a short TikTok video, it might be only 3 minutes long, but it takes me like 3 hours to edit sometimes. Anywhere between 10 minutes to 3 hours. It depends on the complexity of the video. How's the group you're traveling with? Says Lester. They're very sociable. Yes, almost everyone is very sociable on the group. Everyone's very nice. We're all Americans, which is cool. We come from different parts of America, and the age group is between 25 and 40, and that's generally what this specific tour company aims for. So I'm not like in the Rick Steves tour group where I would probably be by far the youngest person if I were to join the Rick Steves tour. If you don't know what the Rick Steves tours are, Rick Steves is a famous travel writer and personality TV host that is American, that concentrates in European travel. So if I were to join one of his tours, I think most of the tour group would be at least 60 plus. In this case, it's 25 to 40. Sue says it stays lighter longer in Scotland, further south. Yeah. Ms. Aldi says, you're doing a great job. I'm so glad you think so. We were to pick a follower to take on the journey with you, says Wilston. Yeah, maybe. I think that would be interesting, especially to places where it would be a bit more difficult to travel to. Follower, friend, significant other. It could be any of those. Maybe at some point. Bit of a Wonder says, no tour group for me. I would just rent a car. Yeah, you could do that. I decided to do this. I don't like driving a car. If you like driving a car, by all means, don't do a tour group because you'll feel very limited if you really love cars. If you don't love cars, like me, I'm not really too much of a fan of driving them. These group tours are a blessing. I don't need to do any of the driving. And not too much of the logistics. I don't need to do any of the logistics. In this case, ferries and different lodgings and where to have dinner. Because we're going to remote areas, relatively for European standards, is remote. And places for dinner, you know, they're in smaller towns. They're booked either the restaurants are booked or they close fairly early at 7 p.m. So it's better to have a tour group in that case. I would feel very limited if I were to do a tour through a city because I like walking. I like doing my own train travel. So in the city, I would not do a tour group. That's multiple days. Trisonda says, ever try a train? Trisonda. I think a train would be rather difficult here. Where we're going, there are no trains. No trains in this area of the world. Gary says, having your own car means cutting back on your whiskey samples. Yes, so having your own car comes with responsibility. to take care of that car, and that means you potentially can't go out to the pub, as we have done a few times on this group trip so far. Joe says it's surprising you have better reception here in Scotland than you do in London. I'm out in the middle of the Hebridean Sea, and there's better reception here than the middle of London. Yes, it is shocking. The CB says, good morning, it's such a beautiful day for a boat trip. It really is. It's a gorgeous day for a boat trip. Bit of a Wanderer says, $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Bit of a Wanderer. Appreciate that. Johan from Belgium says, how are you live on sea? I have no idea. I have no clue. I am speculating that there is a cell tower on these bigger ferries, because the same thing happened to me at Loch Ness. So a few months ago, check out that video. I did a full live video going on a boat trip all the way through Loch Ness. Walter, thank you so much for the 19. Walter sent $19. Ooh, thank you so much, Walter. Walter sent 19 Mexican. Thank you so much, 19 Mexican dollars. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Just if I think about $192. Thank you so much. Gracias. Lo agradezco. Y cualquier if you have any questions in Spanish, feel free to ask. But in Loch Ness, there was no cell phone reception at the castle, at the museum. There was no reception boarding the ferry. But once the moment the ferry left from Loch Ness, perfect cell phone reception, and I went live. Here, same thing. I'm not sure. If any ferry experts are out there, let me know. Ryan says there could be cell service on ships. They use satellite uplink. There we go. So they have a satellite connection over here, and they seem to share it with the people on the ferry. Bella says Ariel's age will remain a mystery to us all. I am ageless. It's a beautiful day for a boat trip, says CB. Yes. All right, let's go back upstairs. Susie says that was a fun live. I went to see Nessie come out. Oh yeah. All right, let's see if we can catch any whales or a seal or maybe a skelly. So there in the distance, we're starting to see the outer Hebridean Islands, which we're heading to. Bear asks, when you were at the mountain, what from New York City would you like to have up there with you? Oh, I would have loved to have a great avocado toast with poached eggs and an Americano. No, it was pretty hot, so a cold brew coffee on tap. That would have been amazing up in the mountain. Will says, how far are we from Paris? I think if we were to use a car, if we were to use a plane, I think we'll get there fairly quickly. About 2 hours or so. But if you were to commute here regularly, take a ferry, take a car, go to the train, it would take you a good day to get to Paris if you were to do it via public transportation. Will, as I explained earlier, just to in brief, from Edinburgh, train to Inverness. Inverness met with tour group, car to Skye, car to Ferry to Skye, and Skye we took the bus to the ferry. Buses right down there. That's it. Boarded on the ferry. Bear in the Garden says you can fly over there. Yeah, there is a airport at Stornoway. Irene says, any good language or learning apps? I would recommend Duolingo. If anyone could write that down on Facebook. Irene, Duolingo, Duolingo. Will asks, how's the food? The food is amazing in Scotland. I love it. We've had some great full Scottish breakfasts. I had pizza with venison salami, which is deer. Really good pizza in the middle of Scotland, in the middle of Isle of Skye, in a small town called Portree. And that was interesting. The grocery stores always have awesome food and drink options. Pubs always have classic fare. Lizzie says, what's the best tasting food you ate? So I got a little preview. Stornoway is famous for its black pudding, which is the one of the main towns in the Isle of Lewis that we're visiting today. At the hotel we stayed at, which is called Portree, they had breakfast and they had some of that Stornoway black pudding. Black pudding, if you don't know, is blood sausage. And oh my, it was magical. a divine black pudding. Tasted like a great meat cake. Lester says, "Do you know that the Scottish Highlands are a part of the same mountain range as the Appalachians?" That's a mind-boggling thought. Yeah, it is a mind-boggling thought, Lester. So Lester mentions how the mountain range from the Highlands actually continues all the way to the Appalachians, so just underwater. It's also a very interesting thought because the Appalachians is where a lot of Scottish immigrated to, or not immigrated, but settled in America, either right before independence or right after independence. And they actually continued their clan rivalries in the Appalachian Mountains as they had in the Highlands. So one of the most famous stories is the Hatfields versus the McCoys. Very, very bloody family feud that lasted for generations. And very similar to the Highland clans who battled for many generations. Lizzie says, first time traveler, what do you recommend? Make it easier on yourself and go to Edinburgh, Scotland. Don't try. I would say don't be too. Don't dive right into the deep end when it comes to traveling to Scotland, because unless if you're on a group tour, then it might be a lot of work to plan all of this. So either do a group tour and go to a place super remote like this, or if you're going on your own or with a significant other or family, go to Edinburgh. And maybe do day trips from Edinburgh. You can visit the Highlands. You can visit the castles. You can visit the Roman walls. You can do some cool day trips from Edinburgh and get a taste of what you're seeing me filming on this trip already. Dorinda asks, are you ever going to Ireland again? One day. We're going to lunch with the tour group. Yeah, I am, Joe. We're having lunch, and guess what? Highland beef and ale pie is on the menu. So that's why I'm going to grab a great Highland steak and ale pie. Daniel says, the signal's very good, no buffering. I am shocked. Dorinda says, are you going to Ireland? Ireland is crazy expensive. So for context, I'm spending, in Edinburgh, I was spending about $180 per night, and I got lucky. In London, I was spending about $300 a night, and I got lucky. Ireland, to stay in the small towns of Ireland, small cities in Ireland like I did, if I were to go back to Cork or Galway, or even further out, in the bed and breakfast in Donegal, $300 a night. It is a bit out of my budget. And now I have to hire a car if I wanted to go to show you a new side of Ireland that I didn't before. And hiring a car is among the most expensive in Ireland. And you have to put a hold on your credit card, which is over $5,000 potentially, which is, I just don't have the budget for it. It's very hard to do Ireland. I got lucky in September doing Ireland. I did Ireland just right after they opened, so the prices were still very low. Because Ireland is a very expensive area of the world, unfortunately. So this is the ferry over to the Isle of Lewis. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. Bonus content will be posted of more of Paris soon. We're getting a full look into an amazing museum of history. Also, the House of Victor Hugo will be posted this soon on patrons. Patrons already have access to a few bonus videos of this trip, such as the full extended tour of the Canterbury Cathedral. So thank you everyone so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. This is a miracle here that we have great cell phone service. Thank the engineers, round of hearts to the engineers who make satellite links for ferries here in the UK. It is just the best thing ever. I wish all ferries would have this across the world. And let me know if there's a portable version of this technology, because I will seek it out. And the more patrons I get, the higher budget I can get. And the higher budget I can get, meaning maybe one day I can buy a portable version of the satellite link and go really remote places of the world. Everyone, keep being awesome. Athena says, if you ever come to Ireland again, I'll cover your costs. Oh, Athena, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for offering that. I know I have a few people I can stay with in Ireland in the future. So I'll return to Ireland at some point. Am I going to Wales? Not for this trip. All of July will be new places I haven't been to. So if you're guessing a place I've been to before, a country I've been to before, guess again. Countries and cities I've never been to before. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Keep being awesome. And always keep on exploring. All the way from the Hebrides in the remote areas of Scotland. Cue the music from Outlander. Sing me a song, everyone. And as the Scots like to say, see you in a bit.